Lords and ladies of YouTube, we are now 18 days, 18 hours, 23 minutes, and 30 seconds away from Betrayal dropping 3.5, Path of Exile's newest expansion and newest league. So we are all getting stoked for the December 7th release. But today we've got the announcement of two new skills today. So we're going to take a look at both skill reveals. And we're going to try and theorycraft just for a few moments to try and maybe gauge where these skills could fit in, whether or not these are going to be good league start skills or not. So without further ado, here we go. Skill reveal, Lancing Steel and Shattering Steel. We're releasing a number of new skills alongside the Betrayal League. Two of these are new projectile steel skills that use the new Impale effect. Shattering Steel. This skill lets you swing your sword or axe, releasing a spray of 3 projectiles in an arc in front of you. These projectiles deal more damage the further they travel until they reach their maximum range. When they stop on an enemy or reach maximum range, the projectiles burst, dealing their damage in an outward cone. All right, let's take a look. Here's Shattering Steel. Almost looks like Reeve and Frostblades had a baby together. What do you guys think? Reeve and Frostblades? Yeah, Reeve and Frostblades had a kid. Look at that slow motion. It's okay. It's almost like he throws out. Yeah, they sequentially come out from left to right, or sorry, from right to left as he swings as a right-handed swing. That's pretty cool. And it looks like there's several projectiles that come off of there. Let's just, here we go, get rid of this little YouTube thing. How many come off of this? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 blasts, maybe? Maybe 7? Let's watch this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I'm seeing 7. Let me know in the comments if you guys are seeing more. I'm counting 7 there. Okay. So that is Shattering Steel. Now let's take a look next. The projectiles are released in rapid succession, making them capable of hitting close enemies with multiple projectiles. Like Spectral Throw, the skill doesn't perform any melee attack and therefore can't be supported by multi-strike or melee-specific supports. But the skill works very well with projectile-modifying supports like Pierce, multiple projectiles, and vicious projectiles. The maximum range can't be modified, so faster projectiles doesn't increase the skill's range, but area of effect modifiers increase the size of the burst. Okay. Interesting. So let's talk some more about Impale. Impale. Shattering Steel has a chance to impale a new debuff that rewards repeat hits. Impaled enemies are covered in sharp metal spikes, making any hits taken more painful for the enemy. When you impale an enemy, 10% of the unmitigated physical damage of the attack is stored, and the next 5 hits that enemy takes from any source will cause them also to take this stored damage. Wow! Okay, so imagine some sort of way that you could maybe stack Impale with Blade Flurry? I don't know. Maybe there's going to be a way that Impale and Bleed could interact together? Huh. You can have multiple impale effects on an enemy limited only by hits consuming the impale. This gives Shattering Steel and Lancing Steel an even greater edge when they're able to hit a target multiple times. And this still image is a beautiful image of what impaled targets look like. Like, look at all of these different impaled spikes running through this floating ghost, this floating ghost, this float. Like, this is fantastic. Which, by the way, are these Syndicate members? Or what? Like, this appears to be the Exile, which I can't even see, like, what that person even looks like. That's interesting. And then here are all the archers. This is the point of explosion, at least on the newest Shattering Steel. This looks awesome. I love that there's visual effects for debuffs. I know, like, Bleed's got it. You know, Shock has got it. Ignite's got it. Obviously, Chilled and Frozen have got it. But I just really like sharp and clear visual indicators of when a debuff is applied that is visually visceral and feels I don't want to use the term authentic, but it feels tangible in that, yes, you can tell very, very quickly, I have now applied my debuff, and visually that's what this looks like. It looks like you can really tell, hey, these guys, these couple of archers here in the back have not been impaled. Maybe there's a couple of impales here, but nothing up here in the front. So anyway, I like that. I like the sharpness of the image. Okay, Lancing Steel. Thrust forward with your sword or axe, firing a wide projectile that impales any enemy's hit. Okay, so sword or axe, which means, hey, if you're using a mace, you could still use a mace as a stat stick for Lancing Steel. While you do this, additional projectiles are summoned as blades that float parallel with your attack, and these fly forward after a short delay. Like Shattering Steel, any enemy can be hit by multiple Lancing Steel projectiles, making the skill very effective if you're able to catch an enemy with multiple flying blades. All right, let's take a look. That almost looks like, it's not quite elemental hit, but it almost just looks like, hey, here's a bunch of straight line projectiles. Do they all come out at the same time? No, they don't. Okay, so there's like one central attack. There's like one central attack, and then there's several other projectiles that come out after. So you can't really see it here because this is real time, and his attack speed is probably pretty decent. But it looks like there's one central main line that comes out from the exile. Yeah, one central main line. Oh, did you see that? There was actually a mouse right there. You see that mouse? That mouse is not my mouse. Here's my mouse over here on the left side of the screen. The video capture collected a mouse. Yep, see this? This is one single mouse. That's great. You can see. So there's definitely a central line that's running on Lancing Steel, and then there's a bunch of other projectiles that fire with it. That's cool. All right. Where you aim controls the spread of projectiles. Aiming up close will spread out the angles of the projectiles, though they do tilt slightly towards targets when created. Aiming at range will cause all of the projectiles to fire in parallel, letting you easily hit enemies at range with multiple shards. Okay, interesting. The skill comes with 4 additional projectiles, so greater multiple projectiles will increase the skill's spread at a cost of damage, while Pierce, Chain, and Fork let the skill clear out groups of enemies. Okay, so out of the 2, if I had to pick 2, which that's my question for you guys, which out of these 2 would you pick for potential league starter? Let's get this going again. This is Shattering Steel using a sword or an axe again. So if you want to offhand with a... I know they're showing the guys using a shield here, but let's get real here. You're going to use a stat stick. I think I like Shattering Steel better than I like Lancing Steel. But that's just because it appears that the AoE, it fires in an arc sort of fashion. You can see this up here on the Shattering Steel, that he's going to clear out just pretty much everything in front of him in a wide spectrum, in a wide arc, almost a half-moon crescent, whereas this is like, hey, everybody in front of you. That's pretty decent coverage, though. Yeah, you're going to have to fire once per pack. Anyway, all right, so those are the 2 skills. Which one do you think you would use? I used Consecrated Path at the beginning of last league, and I played that in hardcore for 3 different characters. Ultimately, all 3 met their demise pretty quick, and I jumped over from hardcore to softcore, I think within the first week of Delve, which I was very, very happy with. But nonetheless, I say that to say Consecrated Path on release was a really, really good starter skill. There's no movement included in Lancing Steel and Shattering Steel, and they both require you to stop or to pause. That being said, so do a couple of other meta skills right now, like Molten Strike. Reave and Cleave are both pretty good in pretty good spots as well. Blade Flurry, of course, is great, especially if you're a lab farmer, if you just want to go jug and Blade Flurry and do a bunch of damage in the lab and farm Azaro. So we'll see what the numbers are. Obviously, everything's always dependent on numbers with these sorts of things, but both of these skills look mechanically very, very interesting, and they almost give a little bit of a ranged bow feel, like I had said earlier, maybe almost like a little bit of a bow's elemental hit for the Lancing Steel. But anyway, leave us a comment down below. Which out of the two do you like better, Shattering or Lancing Steel in their current visual iterations? Before we have any numbers and can say whether or not one of them is OP, give us your feedback. Let us know which one of these two you enjoy better. And of course, stay tuned, because every single day we're just counting down 18 days, 18 hours, 13 minutes, and 25 seconds away from Betrayal. Get hype, Exiles.